Hi and welcome back to Random Romania. We're on the famous Transfagurășan road here, as you can see. This is Sibiu County down here. We've come to meet a geologist, Mihai, and he's basically going to talk about why he's come back to Romania after, I believe, 30 years in America. So we're not going to stay out here very long because it's really freezing and very windy. And anyway, we'll carry on with the video when we get down the bottom. Okay, so here we are. We've arrived near Sibiu and we're in a hotel right now. This is Mihai. He's a geology professor from a major US university, and he's come back to Romania after 30 years, right?
Yep.
So basically, I've got a bunch of questions here for you. First one is just introduce yourself and give us a little bit about your history, and then why you decided to come back here.
Yep, let's do that. So I was born and raised here in Sibiu, which is 10 kilometers from where we are here. Graduated from high school, had a passion already for geology, for rocks, for climbing, for going out in the mountains. Decided to go to the University of Bucharest, where I was a student for about 4 years. In the meantime, the Romanian Revolution changed everything, and it wasn't long after, it's basically exactly when I finished my degree at the University of Bucharest, that an opportunity came about. So I went to the US. So I went to the US with the goal of completing my education, get a PhD, and becoming a researcher. That was kind of what I wanted to do. And that's what I did, you know. So I did go to Duke University. I went to Caltech, and at the beginning of the century, I became a professor. So I have been a professor at this university for 24 years now. Still am there, on my way out, and about to move back to Romania with my family.
Okay, and why did you decide to come back here? That seems like that'll seem like an unusual move for many people. If you've got a life in America, what made you decide to come back here?
Our life in America is pretty good, and has been, and financially at least. But many things have changed since I started my academic career. My only job was with the university, in the sense that while it was back then, at least it seemed like it's oriented towards research and discovery and education and all the good stuff that I thought the university should be. Today, it's a totally different environment. It's a totally different scenery. It's a totally different place that I really don't recognize anymore or don't identify with anymore.
And would you just say that you don't feel science is being done in a scientific way? Would that be a reasonable, simple way to explain it?
I think so, yeah. I think that we've migrated so much from what we do, and in my case, I do geology, and that's a science, a pretty big science, right? And I do certain things in the field of that science. You know, I don't do everything. I don't do experimental science. Most of my stuff is observational and so on and so forth. But that's what I do. That's what I was trained to do. And yet, the great majority of funding, the great majority of almost everything that we do in the university today has nothing to do with that, you know.
Yes.
To put it simply, I'm almost being asked to be a social scientist these days. I'm being asked to be a social justice warrior of some kind.
Yes.
And I also, something that I don't know how to do. I've not been trained to do that. Not that I don't like it, you know. Mm-hmm. And I just don't find my place there anymore.
Yes. And do you think there are a number of earlier when we were talking before we set up the interview, you were saying that you think that there might be a number of scientists in similar situations in the US that might be surprised to know there is money and research opportunities in Romania for them waiting if they were so interested as to come here. Was that kind of the point you wanted to get across?
Yeah, to some extent, yes. I want it because this is something that. So what else is there? Well, first of all, the question to ask, I think, would be: am I the only one? Is everybody pretty happy and dandy with the way things are? And even though we don't talk about this, is subjects that we don't really talk at work too much about. It's no question, there's no doubt to me that the morale is pretty low
Yes.
among academics in the U.S. There might be people that think that this is fantastic, the way this whole thing is or the direction is going. But I believe that the great majority of people, at least the ones that are like me, that came into this business with this great desire to become, researchers and discoverers of things, they have to be in the same shoes as I am, and I actually know this for a fact for quite a few of them.
Yes.
In private, people talk, okay?
Yes.
So, if that is the case, crazy as it might sound, the question is there any other place, in the world where they can do their job better?
Yeah.
It might be difficult for a senior person, but is there any other place? And the answer is yes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's several places that are looking good, and Romania is one of them. Now, obviously, I'm coming back in the process of coming back to Romania because I am Romanian, and I understand very well this particular place. Now, it's not for everyone. Not everybody has to go this way, but I just want to open the eyes of the researcher, the honest researcher of the West, be it the United States, Canada, or someplace like it, that maybe the future, the near future, is a place, is a time where they can do their job better elsewhere.
And are there any specific fields in Romanian sciences that are particularly in need of expert knowledge and scientists to come and get involved here?
Well, let's take the particular case of Romania, okay? This is a country that has now become part of the European Union for a good 15 years or so on, is modernizing, is changing dramatically. Every year is different. And it had experienced quite a bit of growth exponentially for the last 7 or 8 years. So it's not really a poor country anymore by any standards. Yet it is in need of quality everything. That includes scientists and engineers. There's no specific field where Romania is in need of, like geologists, because they need geologists, they need physicists, they need chemists. There's so many facilities that have been built or are in the process of being built here that could use high quality scientists, junior, mid-career, or senior.
So basically, if you're an American scientist or a scientist from anywhere else and living in America, and you thought you were thinking about leaving the US and moving somewhere else, Romania is definitely a place worth checking out.
I would seriously consider it.
Yes, yeah.
I would seriously consider it. Major research facilities that have been built here. I'm just going to give you one example because I'm familiar with that. In the Danube Delta, in the town of Murigiol, which is kind of a place that nobody has heard of, a gigantic research infrastructure that pertains to biology, geology, and a few other fields is being built. It's worth probably 700 million euros, okay? And that includes some of the highest top-notch technology that you can possibly have in the world, in these fields. So that would be a phenomenal laboratory for somebody, a playground for anybody who's in the field of natural science. Take the laser facility from Magurele, from Bucharest, which is the largest laser on the planet, which has been built. I would imagine that physicists from all over the place would love to use that facility for their research.
I guess people are just unaware these things exist.
Scientists are, or at least here, they are aware of that, but those are just a few examples. To add to that, the fact that the Romanian government is actively trying to recruit people from Romania to come back, people like me, okay, didn't have to recruit me, I made my decision on my own, but or foreigners that would like to move here, that actually could make the deal even sweeter.
Yes. Yeah, I think if people are watching this in the US or other Western countries and are in some kind of scientific field and are thinking of leaving their countries and moving somewhere else, definitely check out Romania. That's the message. Now, I've got a I've got a bit of a light-hearted question here that I thought of.
Sure.
Sorry, this is a semi-serious question. How does the university food in America compare with the Romanian food?
I guess it depends, you know, because I haven't seen all the universities in America, and I haven't had lunch in all of them. But the ones that I'm familiar with, most of these campuses, you know, are filled with corporate junk. Okay, yeah. The Burger Kings, the McDonald's, the KFCs, and so on. So, actually, I was just telling to somebody recently that every time I have to go have lunch in the U.S. at my work, I dread that, you know. But I know that I have to eat it, okay? And I have to go and eat because otherwise I'll just I'll die if I don't eat, first of all, you know. But I have to have enough energy to go into my class and teach and so on. Yeah. And so I go and get something and then hope that nothing horrible happens to my stomach while I'm teaching, you know. In contrast to that, while I'm here in Romania, at the University of Bucharest or anywhere, you know, I can't wait for somebody to come and ask me, do you want to have lunch? I'm like, yes, let's go have lunch. Let's go now, okay?
Yeah. One thing I think I wanted to come back to, because I'm not sure we covered it, what's the potential for grant money, government grants or any grant money, EU money for scientists coming here to do research? Research funding is, I guess, is a question.
It's a moving target as far as research grants in Romania, but the number, the value in euros or dollars has increased significantly in the last few years. Just 2023 alone, you can check these numbers on government web pages. Just this year alone, the funding for science and engineering has almost doubled from last year. Okay.
Do you know what the number is, the total number?
I don't, you know, because it's all kinds of different pockets of money. Some of that money is specifically given to coming back or coming into the country from outside.
On the description of the video, we have we can put 5,000 characters there. We can write some of this stuff for people who are watching the video. Maybe you can think of some things and contribute to that if you want. Okay, cool. Well, I think that covers everything we want to talk about for now. We'll probably come back and do another interview at some point as things develop. I think we're off now to go and look at some actual geological features since we're with the geologist, because we're in an area of some interest. So we did in fact go and do a little bit of amateur geology after we'd done the interview, but we decided in the end not to include it in the whole video, and I will publish that as a separate item in the community section of our channel. The reason was we just thought it went a little bit too much off topic. Anyway, thanks very much again for watching. We really appreciate the people who are sharing our videos now. They're clearly getting shared around quite a lot, so that's very cool. Please keep that up. And look forward to seeing you again back here for the next video. Bye for now.